Welcome, everybody, to Astro Detectives. This is the show where we try to match our guest to their correct birth chart. As always, we have two charts to choose from, and today our guest is either a Capricorn or a Gemini. I'm Scott the Skeptic of Astrology, and I'm joined by my co-host and friend and professional astrologer, Sarah Hartshorn. Sarah,
yes.
How does a Gemini compare with a Capricorn?
Well, Scott, these signs could not be more different from each other. In fact, we call this, they're in aversion to each other. They have nothing in common at all. So that's
This should
cool.
be easy. This is going to be an easy episode for us.
Let's
Mark
hope so.
it in the win column.
Yeah. Okay. So a Gemini is considered a yang mutable air sign. Yang means kind of masculine, not masculine in the biological sense, but more expressive and outward. And it's mutable, so it's very adaptable and multifaceted. And it's an air sign, which is very concerned with ideas, communication, and the mental plane. And so they tend to be jacks of all trade. They love talking. They love ideas. They like options, so that is, they're very interested in data and gathering information. There's a connection to hands and speaking and duality with them. So, and Capricorn, very different, is a yin cardinal earth. So yin is more feminine, meaning it is receptive and inward. It is cardinal, so it starts the season, so it's very much more initiating, and it is an earth sign, so it's concerned with the material plane. So Capricorns they're more reserved. It's like quiet power. They're very strategic. They're very interested in what is realistic and following rules and structure and hierarchy and tradition and things like that. So Gemini is going to be more concerned with what is interesting, and Capricorn's more concerned with what is realistic and what will last.
All right. And so if we're just going off sun signs, we're going to have those as kind of the basis for what we're looking for. But let's say some people are watching and they want to go a little deeper than that, Sarah. Is there a place where they can see these full birth charts and do their own analysis?
Yes, there is, Scott. So if you would like to check out the charts, please go to AstroDetectivesPod.com. As always, you can download the charts there. We have them in whole sign and Placidus, or you can sign up for our Patreon, and you'll get these charts emailed to you with the birth data. So you can actually, if you want to do some Vedic astrology or, do transits and, really have the flexibility to cast them however you want, you can sign up there for our Patreon. Anyway, so I'll just kind of call out what each of their big three is to give a little more context to these charts for our audio listeners. So our Gemini is a Scorpio rising, which is a really interesting combination because Scorpio is also in aversion to Gemini. So it's more similar to Capricorn energy, but Scorpio is a little bit more observant and kind of like reserved and holding back and interested in depth and psychology and all that. So that's an interesting combination with a Gemini. And they also have a Virgo moon, and Virgo moons are very detail-oriented. They can have a little bit of anxiety. They tend to be interested in health, and sometimes they can eat a little bit more lightly. And then our this chart is ruled by Mars in Aries in the 6th house, which is the house of health and service and work. So our Capricorn chart is an Aquarius rising, which is my rising sign. So I always love to see an Aquarius rising. And they they also have an Aquarius moon there in the first house with Aquarius Venus. Venus is actually very diplomatic and very schmoozy. It also likes things to be pretty, and it likes material and stuff like that. And Aquarius just wants to be different. It likes to be recognized for its uniqueness. They tend to have lots of friends of all different walks of life. And yeah, that Capricorn sun is in the 12th house. And it's ruled by this, the Ascendant is ruled by Saturn in Leo in the 7th house. So just giving that out for our astrology friends if you want to follow along. So that's kind of just an overview.
So for me, I'm going to be looking for either a chatty social Gemini or a making their own business, step-by-step, careful, methodical plan Capricorn. And then there's some other, the moon and the rising are floating around in there too. But hopefully I don't have to look too deep working with my limited knowledge. But everybody at home, grab those charts and meet us back on the other side of this break. We're going to be here with our guest and find out if they're a Capricorn or if they're a Gemini right after this. Hey, listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology. We're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together, like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late-night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm, fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/astrodetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. We've got our two charts in front of us. We are ready to find out which of them belongs to our guest, and we are now joined with our guest, Tara. Welcome to Astro Detectives.
Thanks for having me.
We're so glad you're here. We're here to get to know you, and I'd like to start with, where are you joining us from today?
I am in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. How do you like it over there?
I love it. I just moved a few months ago from New Jersey, so I wanted to move closer to work, and I'm really loving being in the city, and my friends are here, and I bought my own place, so.
This year?
Yep.
Big year. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You said you wanted to be closer to work. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what you do for work, what you're drawn to, maybe if there's any consistency over jobs that you've seen in your job history?
Sure. I work at a law firm. I am the office manager of a plaintiff's catastrophic personal injury law firm. So we represent people against people that other, usually insurance companies or industries that have wronged them, and we get them whole. I was a lawyer, but I did not like the practice of law. So now I am on the admin side, and I wear a lot of hats. I do the HR, I do the bookkeeping, I am the office psychiatrist, and I love it. I love who I work with. I love the work we do. I love that my energy is being put towards a cause that I believe in, and that's not always... I haven't always felt like that. So it's good to actually have my energy aligned with my morality.
And what was it about the actual work as a lawyer that wasn't as fulfilling or that made you want to change?
A few things. Primarily billing hours. I hated. I don't know if you're familiar with how a lot of defense side lawyers work, but they have to account for all of their time down to 6-minute increments. So just thinking about my time, in point one, point two, and it just was. I really didn't enjoy that. It changed my concept of time in a way that I found intolerable, and that was one thing. And I wasn't good at it because I would get involved in tasks and then be like, "Oh my God, I didn't account for this," and have to go back and recreate my day, and then. Also, the kind of work I was doing, the entities that I was representing, it was like, just large corporations that, trying to save them more money. And there was not, my heart wasn't in it. And then also the people were actually not great. So a lot of elements.
Yeah. What was it that drew you to that profession originally? And or if there was something you liked about it, what kind of did you enjoy about that?
I loved advocacy. I loved the writing, the reading, the research. I love the law itself, or the concept of the law, the ideal of law and justice. So I was drawn to that. I think when I initially went to law school, I imagined myself to be doing more like international law. And I did teach international commercial arbitration, which is a law course. And I love that. And, so I like the academic aspects of the law more than the actual practice and other lawyers.
And it sounds like you not only changed positions, but changed companies to be working with different types of clients at this new role.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I was on the defense side and I was working for like a larger defense side firm. And now I left the practice of law quite some time ago, and went towards I worked for an arbitral institution for a few years. And then I got recruited to come here a few years ago, and it's plaintiff side, representing people. So that was a big draw. And then the owners of the company, my bosses, are I don't know, it's the healthiest work environment I've ever worked in. So I'm just thrilled that I work with the least problematic men I've ever encountered, and they're my bosses.
That's amazing.
I know.
Now, did you ever have sort of like the desire to be your own boss? Maybe, I'm going to do my own law firm.
No, not really. Just because I figured out within the first 4 years of practice that I didn't want to practice. And so, and I never had the desire to learn teach myself the practice of law. I always, I wanted to learn from the best. So, for me, running the business, a law firm, it just doesn't have appeal except for me running it now. I run the law firm, except for I don't make the legal decisions. And I love it.
And as candid as you can be, I'm curious, having worked on both sides of these, cases where somebody feels like they're wronged by a large company and is trying to get paid what they feel like they deserve. Do you see it more that the company does owe and they just don't want to pay, or that this is actually a frivolous lawsuit and, the company is unfairly being asked for money? And you don't have to.
No, I can. So number one is they never want to pay.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Right. So they never want to pay. They never want to admit wrongdoing. Even if they know that they messed up, they still don't. What really makes them change their mind is if a compelling argument is made, like, you're going to have to pay a lot unless you agree to pay this much now. And I would say that, of course, that there are frivolous lawsuits. I think that the defense side of things is way better funded with much more expensive lawyers and mouthpieces. So there's a lot of more press about frivolous cases, but in reality, like good law firms, I expect on plaintiff's side, are only working on contingency. So they're only going to bring cases that they know that they're going to get paid on. Otherwise, we're just throwing money away. Just, there are people that have been injured. Like, our clients have been catastrophically injured. Like, we're talking like dead babies and, permanent injuries and needs care for life. So they're hurt. And so it really becomes for me like about allocation of who should bear the burden of paying for this loss, who is better and rightly able to pay for this. And it's usually not like the parents of some, they're a child that got injured, and our client, I'm in Philadelphia, so we're representing, urban families, lower socioeconomic status, and they've been hurt, and they should get help, and especially medical care, because that's the largest amount of what they're getting money for. It's to pay their already $1 million bills.
And yeah, you don't want to take a case that's going to be a waste of time if you can't win it. So that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it can cost $200,000 just to get the case all the way down. So if you lose, we're eating that.
Now, in your survey, you said when you were a child, you had an interest in being a dancer. Can you talk about that shift or where that came from? And is there still any of that desire, not to be a dancer, but maybe where some of that motivation was?
I consider myself a dancer, like, even though it's not my profession, but I do consider myself a dancer. I grew up just dancing and making up dance routines, and then like competing in some like competitions. And, I was encouraged by like guidance counselors to pursue dance. But I didn't know how to make it happen. I didn't grow up with a lot of money or encouragement, or guidance, or just any parental care almost. So, I just could not figure out how to make that happen. I did end up doing some like choreography for the cheerleading squad, and I go dancing like at least a couple times a month. That is my therapy. It is just dancing, it's how I think it's a great way to process your emotions, like, go stomp it out on the dance floor. And it's a great way to make community.
What type of dancing, or like what do you like to do?
I have taken like hip hop dance lessons, but mainly it's like club dancing, house music.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How would your friends or family describe you if we were asking them about you right now?
Fun, funny, intelligent, some dependable, someone that's direct and communicative. I'm a good friend. I would say all of my friends would consider me a good friend. And I really am. Friendship is important to me, and maintaining friendships is important to me, and not just like surface level friendships, but the kind of friendships that like work on conflict, and we're not just people pleasing each other. We're mending conflicts. We're talking about our feelings. We're not allowing resentments to build up. I think that's what they would say about me. I'm pretty independent, powerful. One year, my friends, for my birthday, like they gave me something with like where they could write on it, and they just all described me on it. So I'm kind of recollecting that gift that they gave me with all those descriptions and just saying what that is.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you expand on independent and powerful and maybe what led them to write that?
I um I have so I haven't had like a strong my home of origin was like high conflicts, not a lot of supervision or care, and I put myself through college. I got myself my first job. I bought my first car. Um, I am divorced and now I bought a house by myself. So I think that's like the independent streak. I don't have a desire to live with a romantic partner again or marry another romantic partner. I just think that I don't think that there's value in that for me. And I guess there's power in that, just awareness and self-awareness of being like, I can do this by myself, but because I'm actually not by myself, I have my community, and focusing on my friendships and like de-escalating that like romantic focus has really helped me build a powerful support network full of love. Like I'm so happy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that, I guess originally it was, what are your friends, what would they say about you? Is there anything that you think is maybe an aspect that people don't see that is true for you, but maybe they wouldn't be aware of? It sounded like what they would say was also true, like you related to what they were saying. But is there anything that maybe they wouldn't recognize?
There's definitely a hidden kind of portion of myself that that I keep close and maybe I'm not even fully aware of. And they wouldn't see that because I'm not presenting it. They probably, I have communicated with them, that I can have tough times or like go through, bouts of depression, but I isolate when that happens. So most of them haven't seen me when I'm not at my best. So I think that's probably something that they wouldn't know about me.
Mm-hmm. But that's like the human condition too. It's like you're going to have those down days, and that's not the days that you want to be sharing how you're feeling to other people.
Right. Right.
For your personal style, you put one of a kind. Can you kind of describe what makes it one of a kind? And if you could describe what you're wearing now, it would be helpful.
Okay. Oh my God. Well, this is my work outfit. So my work avatar, I think, is pretty boring, because it's a law firm and it's conservative. But before this, so I'm just wearing like a turtleneck sweater, black wide leg pants, and I wore combat boots today. That's it. Prior to this job, where I could wear and style myself however I wanted, I had all different kinds of hair colors from like the whole rainbow. And I would say my signature kind of like essence of like my color palette is like black plus rainbow. So like I'm always trying to work like black is a base, but then like rainbowish elements somewhere, or like I adore like this like iridescent pink purple. Really all about it. So my personal style, I wear when I go out dancing, I'll wear when I say I can wear some crazy stuff like sequins or all this kind of like layering contraptions where it's like cyberpunk or cyberpunk more, colorful sunglasses or even like contacts, crazy makeup, what's like layered with like glitter and gems or whatever. Just no, the sky is the limit. And luckily I'm in like community with people that get into it and like want to be part of the the mosaic of the event. So like I consider myself like part of the scene of the movie that is the thing that we are in. And like want to contribute to that in a way that's like, wow, look at that, look at these people. This is a place I want to be. They're all like putting in effort and it looks cool.
Okay, so you're doing it for yourself, but you're also doing it to have other people enjoy. You want to bring a little something to their life to be able to see you and that, spark something in them.
Yes.
Oh,
While
nice.
at the same
Yeah.
time not wanting to be perceived, which is, hilarious.
All right, I just got a couple more, and then I'm going to hand it over to Sarah for some more specific questions.
Sure.
These are times where there are a lot of issues going on in the world. If I were to put you in charge of everything, how does that feel? How does that land with you? You're now in charge of the world.
I think for one moment it's stressful, but knowing what I would do would not be because I I lead from behind. So if someone gave me the power, it would just be like, okay, now I invite all these people to join me and let's figure this out together. Not like I'm not hungry for power in the slightest. Um, and it's just, but I would love for the world to work the way I want it to, which is, that there's enough for everybody to go around and let's not hoard and let's not have a punishment based culture and let's lead with compassion. So I think the world would be a better place if we could do that. And it's actually not difficult. We just all have to decide together.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like my next question is going to be a little bit about strategy. And you were saying, using teamwork and tapping into other resources. If you had to choose between, you're going to make sweeping changes like from the bottom up, this needs to be overhauled, or a little more tinkering, which of those two is more appealing?
So I think one sweeping thing, which would be like eliminate, immediately eliminate almost the concept of property, and capitalism, and then slow organizational change,
Okay.
incremental, yeah. So
And I didn't mean like you had to pick an issue or anything, but just like in theory, like the idea of let's start over versus let's fix it from within with the details. Does either one of those seem appealing?
So in my youth, I would have said, incremental progress. But now I have just seen a failure in that, and that it just seems to be like two steps forward, one step back. So I would say at this point of where we are, and what we need to actually write the path towards survival of most species is probably something more revolutionary.
All right. On that, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah.
All right. Okay. I have several questions for you, of course. First, I'm going to start with, what was your first job?
I was a shelver at a library.
Oh, library. Okay. And why did you choose that?
Well, number one, my grandmother worked there. It was down the street from my high school. And I loved books and reading. And I would just walk to the library from school. And it was like the kind of job where all I had to do was like organize the books and then put them back on the shelf. And we had like a requirement to shelve 2 carts a night. So I could just basically sit in the back, organize everything, read everything I wanted to, and then shelve really quickly before I left for like the last 20 minutes. So I shelved nonfiction mostly. So, and I would just pick the areas that I was really interested in, like, the 100s, which is where astrology is, or Thank you. Or yeah, so I read a lot. I read a lot.
What did you like to read, and what do you like to read?
So I really liked back then. I really did get into a lot of occult readings. I don't know how that and philosophical readings. Now, since law schools, honestly, I have not been a great reader. I read a lot for many, many years. But now I still like novels. I've read most of the classics. I was a literature minor in
Oh,
college, and my major was French, and I had a very strong French literature focus. I was very into French lit and French philosophy, and that's one of the major reasons that I um, went that way.
hmm. Okay, cool. When you said you read novels, like what genre?
So let's see, like the classics, Anna
Oh, okay.
Karenina, Emma. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um, so like definitely some romantic one. Do you like romance?
Yes, I definitely have. Um, I do like some romance elements in my storytelling. It's a good vehicle for conflict and tension.
Okay. All right. And okay, I thought it was really cool that you mentioned about your tattoos. You said you have one that's reflective or something?
Yeah, I have one tattoo that is UV reactive.
UV reactive. That's so
Yeah. So
cool.
it glows under the black light. It's a lemon. And it's like, pink and yellow checkered. Um, and it's like, I adore it. And I love being in a place where I can like show people like, look, it's glowing.
Uh, Is it something that you can show us now, or is it accessible?
It's not really accessible.
Okay,
It's
that's
like,
okay.
it's on my upper thigh.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, on your thigh. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, all right. And you mentioned you have a cat, I think.
I do. He's been around. His
And
name's
what's his
Basil.
basil?
If you're watching on YouTube, there's been a tail that's been passing behind her.
That's
He's a
cute.
black cat, and he is wonderful.
Okay. Um, okay, so what topics do you love to talk about just in casual conversation with people?
Okay, so I love talking about astrology, to be honest.
Okay.
I love talking about relationships and how people relate and relationship dynamics and power dynamics. Um, I like talking about like pop culture or sometimes politics, depending. I'm not trying to argue with people anymore, so I would like to maybe talk solution or like community building. Um, yeah, that's
Okay.
I like to gossip.
Okay. Gossip. Um, okay. And what, okay. Do you dress up for Halloween?
Yes,
And what were you most recently?
I was lava.
Lava.
I was, yeah, I have like this like spandex full body suit with that's black, but it has like bright lava all over it, and I wore that with like makeup that was like lava, like I had like stripes of lava, like glitter down my face.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. So do you like to be things that are more abstract or like things, like that? Because it's
You know
not.
what? That was actually a first for me. I just had the outfit and hadn't worn it. And I was like, I guess I could make this my Halloween costume, which is not like typical. Usually I'm something like last year I was Naruto from
What
the
is that?
Naruto. It's from an anime.
Okay.
So, I've been like a vampire clown I love combining stuff like vampire clown or like I have done a lot of clown costume stuff, in the past few years.
Okay.
Clown
That's cool.
jester.
How about when you were a kid?
It's funny because my most hated costume as a child was a clown. There's like so many pictures of me and my sister just hysterically crying in our clown outfits. But I think I was as a kid, I think I was a cat like for 5 years in a row for my Halloween costume.
I love that. Okay. Okay. And tell me what kind of movies or TV shows that do you like to watch anything?
I watch a lot of anime.
Okay.
Um, I I am watching a show, Palm Royale, right now that I'm loving. It's on Apple. It's really highly stylized period piece um, in the like late 60s. It's gorgeous. The set designs are incredible. Um, so that's what I'm watching. That and a bunch of anime.
Okay. Do you like comedies?
I do like comedies.
What's your sense of humor?
Hmm. Uh, I don't. I'm so I can do some physical comedy, but I guess I would say more. I like dark comedy. I love wordplay. I love puns. Like I know people say it's the lowest form of wit, but like I enjoy them. Um, yeah. I'm trying to think of what comedy movies that I really, really love. I mean, I just watched The Princess Bride with my son
Oh.
and we loved it. And I like almost forgot. Even though I've seen it like 47 times, I like forgot how funny it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And so I wanted to ask you about your health, whatever
Mhm.
you're comfortable sharing. Anything major or anything minor as far as like accidents, surgeries, or even just minor things like having, tennis elbow, things like that.
So I've had two children,
Oh.
and childbirth was like really easy to the point that I was like, are people making this up? But
Okay.
I've hold on, I need to get some knock on some wood. I've never broken a bone. I've never broken a bone. I've never had a surgery outside of chipping a tooth and needing to get that fixed. I have I do have occasional bursitis flare ups from it's like a repetitive stress, it, kind of like arthritis of the hips from dancing. Yeah, I don't know how PG it is, but I like to say from throwing so much ass.
Bursitis. And okay, what is that? How do you define that?
Okay, so like in between your ball and socket joints, there's like a cushion called bursa, and that gets inflamed and it causes pain, and that's bursitis. So you can have it of multiple ball and socket joints. The hips are very common.
For any of us out there that maybe have sore hips, is there any not a solution, but what are you prescribed for that? Is it more stretching? Is it less dancing? What?
It's my number one tactic is to to stop before I have a flare up and just know my limits, and that take an anti-inflammatory. That's all we got. You can get a cortisol shot if it's really bad, but it's really just managing and making sure you don't overdo it.
And yours was specifically in the hip area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really have, I mean, I have ADHD. But and then some depression, but haven't really had some health issue, any real health issues. I'm like now really going to the doctor more, like a preventative method. I haven't since I don't really have any issues. It hasn't been a priority for me, but I don't want to give it away. But as I'm getting older, I think it's important to like really make sure that I at least establish a baseline for what my health is, and so I can be more aware of issues as they arise.
Okay. Were you sick as a child a lot?
Um, I used to get strep throat every year, but that's about it.
Every year. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't. It was during the time. Well, I don't want to tell you, but they never took my tonsils out.
Okay. Tonsils. Okay. Do you have a sweet tooth? Do you like sugar?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Easy answer.
Yeah.
Easy, yeah.
Can you talk about your diet? Like, what do you tend to eat?
Um, well, like I love sushi. I had sushi for dinner tonight. I eat that a lot. I love Indian food, Mexican, pasta. I really grew up on pasta, like I think probably because of the poverty, but I really had a lot of like spaghetti and like spaghetti all the way, like, multiple 4 times a night, 4 times a week almost, just spaghetti and oil. My grandmother and I used to just like split a pound of pasta for dinner when I was a kid. Um, I'm pretty much an omnivore. I don't eat chicken or most poultry. I just don't like the texture of it. Ever since I got pregnant, it kind of put me off poultry. But I love fish. I love sweets. I'm not like a huge salty snack person. I love fruit. I could live on berries.
Okay. All right. Let's see. How do you handle like emotions, big feelings? Do you tend to wear your emotions on your sleeve?
So I really I'm a very an intellectualizer of my emotions. It takes a lot of work for me to feel my emotions in my body, but it's like everything is processed through my brain and then the body. Um, as far as communicating them, I am good at that. But actually feeling them and being aware that I'm having feelings, that is the thing. I can have like um, a hard time processing them, though, like I may get a tummy ache or something if I'm not dealing with my stuff.
Okay. Okay. That's important. Um, okay, so you mentioned that you were married. Can you talk a little bit about them? What drew you to them and what separated you? Whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Sure. So we went to undergrad together, and we were best friends, and we got along great as friends. We were in the same friend group. Um, and one day he just kind of like confessed his love for me, and I hadn't really even considered it. Like I just considered him my friend. And then I was like, well, wait, why? He's so nice to me, and like this could be a good future for me. We had like different backgrounds. Like he was, wealthy and like came from a good family, and I was like the opposite. And I saw a lot of stability there. And we got along, and we decided to get married. We got married pretty young. We were together for a while. We went to law school together, and then once when I got pregnant, he quit his job because he wanted to be able to like have a life where he could have access, see his kids more. But then that required me to go back to work.
What? Yeah.
This story is going to get even more and more shocking.
Yeah.
And so when I had a lot of fertility, I did have fertility issues. It took me 4 years to conceive.
Okay.
So I had my first child, but then I was pregnant with my second when my first child was 10 months old. So my children are 18 months apart. So when I had to end up going back to work when my second was like 8 weeks old. So we got a nanny. And I promise you that when I hired the nanny, she was not hot. And if you can forecast where this is going, my husband ended up marrying our nanny. And they're still together. And they have multiple children together. So yeah, that's how that went down.
Whoa.
Yeah. A real, like, everything in my life collapsed from that moment, because my husband and I, we were best friends. We were in the same profession. We shared friends.
Yeah.
A lot of my security was wrapped up in that relationship. And then everything just crashed, and it's been a real, as they say, tower moment. But I have been able, it was like obviously a hard thing, but also a great thing, because everything that's in my life now is like very intentional, and not just because I'm following some like script for what I think people should do to be successful, which is like what I did before, like what I should do to like be safe and be good. That's what I was doing before, which was like a performance basically. Mm-hmm. And now it's authentic.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Would you say you're adaptive to something like that? You said you have a plan in place, but things change.
Right.
Would you say you're less likely to say, no, I'm making my plan happen, versus adapting to changing environments?
Yeah, I'm pretty adaptable. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely want to respond to new information as it comes in, and new situations, and analyze. I'm very analytical, but yeah, analyze, like, where are we? I'm not. I did have a problem with rigidity earlier on, but one of my professors told me that I was rigid, and after having like a mental breakdown about it, like I started to like be like, oh, actually, maybe I am rigid, and then I just started deconstructing that rigidity within myself, and it's much better to be flexible
and humble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be able to take a criticism or an observation by someone else and actually think, well, let me see, am I that?
Yeah, it took years, but
just like 2 more questions for me, I think. You had said early on something, I think you said you were like, wear many hats in the office, and one of them was psychologist.
Yeah.
Right? And is that just kind of like a unofficial thing? Like you...
Yeah, I'm not like a licensed therapist or psychologist. I am HR, but also I've always been a person that people bring their worries to. So like lots of people are in my office like crying, and it could be about work or it could just be about anything. But I love that part of my job. Number one, I like knowing what's going on with everyone. And number two, I love helping people, and also like they can just come in, let it go. I'm not going to internalize any of their problems, because it's not, it's their life. And then they can just go back to doing their work. So like keeping everything moving, and also just being helpful. I love that. But literally, strangers come up to me on the street, confess their secrets.
Why do you think people are drawn to you? What is it about you that you think they feel?
I think I've gotten feedback about this, that a lot of people can tell that I'm not judging them, and also that I'm comfortable being myself and being silly, and that it gives them the freedom to be themselves. So I'm being authentic, I'm being vulnerable, and then they can then be that with me.
Mm. Is it hard for you to be vulnerable?
Um, yeah, it could be. It can be. I think that I can be like my depth of the things that I keep to myself is probably like lower than most. So like I can share things, I think probably because of what I've been through. I can share things that most people would be like, whoa, I would never tell anybody that. But for me, it's like, no, this is, it's not really maybe being as vulnerable as they think because I'm comfortable with um, things that have happened, or how mistakes that I've made, or who I've been and who I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, and you had mentioned early on, you kind of said something about your parents. It sounds like you weren't very close to them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Can you expand on that, or
sure.
what can you share about that?
So let's see. My I grew up in a house with my mother, my sister, who's like 20 months younger than me. And then downstairs, my grandmother and my aunt and uncle lived. My parents divorced when I was 5. So my dad moved away when I was 5, and he was pretty gone until I turned around 17 or 18. My mom, she just, number one, she doesn't like girls. So she had a son, and at first I thought she just didn't like kids, but then I was like, oh no, it's just she doesn't like girls, or at least us. And she's just never been interested in me, or anything else. She doesn't have a lot of emotional maturity. Um, and now she's like got dementia.
Mm.
She married an awful abusive, like alcoholic man. There was a lot of violence in the house. He ended up kicking out my grandmother. And then like when I came home from my freshman year in college, he kicked me out. And that's when I actually reunited with my father. And my father just didn't know how bad it was. He had remarried, and he didn't know how bad my sister and I had it until like until that there was that blow up. And so yeah, my mom's just not involved. I've tried to engage her a little bit, but she just is not interested. Yeah, she doesn't care. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She like kind of keeps to herself. Um, so
Mhm.
she lives with my brother, and they're happy together.
Okay. Okay. And I think last question I would have is maybe what do you feel like is something you need to work on just because you've reflected on that on yourself, or you've gotten feedback from others on it, where you like an area you need to work on?
I am always working on surrendering and being present, getting out of my head and my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. Um, we don't have to diagnose anyone, but like internalized OCD, pretty much. Like there's always a conversation happening. There's always a song going on in the background.
Hmm.
Um, so um, just being able to quiet and just be still, that's something
Hmm.
that I could work on. But truly still, not just sitting there and disassociating, sitting still and being present. That would be
Hmm.
like a wonderful goal for me to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm good.
All right. Got a lot of info for our listeners. This is the part where Sarah and I are going to put you in the waiting room and we're going to have a little huddle.
Okay.
Come to our conclusions, then we're going to bring you back in and see if we're right. Okay?
Okay. Great. I'll be here.
All right. We'll see you in a bit. Sarah.
This was a hard one. This is a hard one.
Well, I was thinking I could make the case for both of them, but I definitely felt like she was leaning in one strongly over the other. I was almost trying to make the other one work.
Yeah, there was some things with the other one that I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't necessarily feel satisfied. I'm not at a place.
Oh, me neither.
Where I feel like I'm, but there's enough things that I felt that were matching up. But, so I would say slightly less confident than the last time.
I'm quite a bit less confident than the last time.
Okay.
And I've got one of them written down.
Okay, same.
And we're going to say it on 3.
Yes. One,
1, 2,
2, 3.
Gemini.
Capricorn.
We're good different. It says Gemini.
Yeah.
See, now I wish I picked Capricorn because I feel like there were reasons that I wanted to go in that direction, but everything she said was leading me towards Gemini. She's like, oh, I love talking to people. I have all these friends. I'm not trying to be in control of anything. I had to drive her into saying revolution of like, would you just overhaul the system? She's like, well, I didn't used to want to, but now I could see doing that. So I was really trying to make the Capricorn one work.
You can still switch.
No, I'm like, this is the reason why I chose Gemini, is because I felt like I was trying to make the Capricorn one work, but she just kept saying, like, I'm detail, like, I like to analyze things. She was so talkative, loved being the office manager, loved communicating with people. There was this also, I mean, if I'm doing it based on the big 3, it's like, then there's this Scorpio rising sign of, I also have like this darker, this kind of like side of me that maybe I don't like to show other people. And that's how I got there. But who knows? I am likely wrong. Who knows?
Well, I mean, we have 2 seasons worth of me being confident and then, finding out I was wrong. So I'm bracing myself, but I feel like there were enough things leading me in the Capricorn direction. Not necessarily because Capricorn, though.
Yeah,
I'm basing it on a lot of other things.
If
she's a Capricorn, I don't think she's like, you wouldn't necessarily think Capricorn right away.
Yeah. I remember we had a Capricorn in season 1 who was not like a Capricorn.
Yeah.
The last episode of season 1.
Yes.
He's like, no, I'm good. I don't need to like climb my way up the corporate ladder.
Yeah. And I feel like that could be the case with this person. I think they have some other things that are outweighing that Capricorn sun, but that's just my thought.
All right. Well, hopefully everybody has chosen theirs at home, and we're going to find out right after this break. Hey, listeners, we're not just a podcast that tests astrology. We're an independent detective agency. That means we rely on you to help us keep the show running.
Exactly. By joining AstroDetectives on Patreon, you can support our mission to finally prove astrology is real.
Or, completely debunk it.
Here we go again.
One thing we can agree on, AstroDetectives is the only place you'll find astrologers and skeptics working together like a buddy cop movie you didn't know you needed.
And trust me, detective work takes time, gathering evidence, late night stakeouts, solving cases, especially when Mercury's retrograde.
Okay, you can't blame Mercury.
The first step is easy and free. Just follow Astro Detectives on Patreon to get access to our debrief episodes where the conversation continues after each case ends. We break down what went right and what went wrong.
And if you want to fast track your training, become a rookie detective for only $3 a month. You'll unlock exclusive bonus episodes, plus early releases and the top secret case files sent straight to your inbox.
Or for just $1 a month, we'll make you an Astro intern. No compensation per se, but hey, you'll gain valuable detective experience and that warm, fuzzy feeling knowing you're helping us keep the lights on.
So if you like what we're doing and want to support us, head over to patreon.com/AstroDetectives and join the investigation today. Welcome back, everybody. We're joined again with Tara, and Sarah and I are on different pages this time. We've made different choices. We've consistently been choosing the same chart for like the last 5 episodes, so I'm not feeling great about this.
Well, if it's any consolation, I'm not either. But
Really? Wow. Okay.
well, just because, yeah. Well, we'll explain later.
All right. Well, the stars for us were not crystal clear. It was a foggy day. But I'll tell you first, we were choosing between a Capricorn and a Gemini. Hopefully you are one of those two.
I am.
You are. Okay, good. That's a good start. All right, everybody. This is where we're going to find out the most exciting part of the episode. I'll be asking for the one I chose, and so if you're not it, Sarah's going to be cheering. Tara, are you a Gemini?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
I'm catching up, Sarah.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of reasons why this house skeptic chose Gemini, and we will get into all of those in the debrief. I was kind of making my case to Sarah when we were on different pages, but this is actually the first time this has happened this season where I've gotten it right and Sarah's got it wrong. So this will be an exciting debrief.
I'm sure we're going to get lots of gloating.
Yeah.
Oh, let me prepare my gloating speech. Before we end this episode, though, Tara, is there anything that you would like to leave our listeners with, whether it's some advice, any place you want to send them, something to support, or if they want to follow you, anything that you would like to plug basically right now?
No, I guess, just be good to each other.
I love it.
Yeah.
Be good to each other, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Do what?
I said so.
You got to listen to Tara. She's a Gemini, and she's telling you. Right? That's what Geminis do. They tell you.
We tell you. We communicate. Yeah.
Well, that's it, everyone. Let us know what you thought by commenting on whatever platform you follow us on. Links to our accounts are in the show notes. As always, thanks to Mike, our IT guy, and his random Chartifier thingy. If you'd like the show and want to support it, you can visit patreon.com/AstroDetectives, where this conversation continues on the free Patreon-only debrief. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube so you don't miss the next episode. Rate and review and tell your friends. And until next time, this case is closed.